Welcome. Today what we're doing is a dream catcher to look at the idea of catching our dreams, what are our aspirations, especially this time of year. And I'm going to start off with, I've got my journal. Now this is just actually a composition book, so just an exercise book for those in Australia. That's just a smaller one. I've just created a cover and see it's all wrinkled up and made it so that it's usable, and I'm not going to keep it as a precious thing, so I just keep adding to it. So starting off with the background, and what we're going to do is you can choose whatever colour you want for your background, but I'm going with a more of a darker colour, thinking night sky. So I've got some blues, a purple, some raw umber, and to put it on, I tend to just, this is a bit of just play, not worry too much about where it's going and blend on the actual page rather than trying to blend the colours and get them right and do a single colour. So you might find that you want some areas that are a little bit darker, because we're going to add some stars to this as well. So you could go ahead and get your background page going. And I'll finish this one off and come back with the next step. Okay, so I've got my background there, my dark sky, and what I want to do is add some stars. So I'm just taking some white paint, and you don't need a lot, only a little bit, and you want to have maybe a smallish brush that's a bit, maybe a spiky rounder one. And what you're going to do is, we're not going to put too much paint, but a little bit of paint, and this is going to get messy, so just be aware of your surroundings so you don't get paint everywhere. But all I'm going to do is put my finger on top and then pull back and let it go on the actual, so then you get, takes a little bit of practice. Sometimes you get blobby things. If it's not coming off too well, you might need a bit of water in your paint, so you could just water it down a little bit. Just makes it flow a bit better, and then you can just add it on. And we're adding a little bit of layering to this project, thinking about all those dreams that we have. You could almost say all these stars are our dreams, and we're going to tap into some of them shortly. There we go. So there's my stars. You could actually just, if you wanted to, just dab a few here and there, you know, randomly. Don't want things to be too ordered and things like this. And then we could leave that to dry. Okay, so we've got our lovely night sky. Now to put in our dream catcher, now you can do this a number of ways. Getting a smaller brush and using your white. Now you could freehand this if you're not going to freak out. And we're going to work out sort of where you want it. You need to have somewhere for the feathers at the back to flow. So I'm just going to sort of mark it in. It's going to be in here. You know, you might want to make it smaller and make it reach. It's just easier to go with the white to begin with. Now if you want to get it sort of a bit more exact, you can also get the bottom of a, you know, something and put your paint around there. And what you're going to do here is just create some sort of patterning. Let's think about, usually it's a bit like a spider web, the Dreamcatcher. So you might start off with a dot in the middle. I'm just going to go like this. And you don't have to close all your lines right to the end. You know, if there's a bit of a gap, that's okay too. And you might find that because you've got a darker background, you need to come back in with your lighter colour over the top. It gives you an opportunity to sort of think about what you're doing. And what we're going to do in this part of the Dreamcatcher, which is the catching bit, is that we're going to start looking at gratitude. What are things that we're grateful for? So as you're painting your little bit of pattern, you could start to think, okay, have a lot of gratitude for my family, for my home, for my friends. See how many lines you can make with your gratitude. And you fill in that whole space doing that. You might want to stop the video and just take your time and go through, because when we're looking at dreaming into what we want, we also need to start from the point that we are already grateful for the things that we do have. And I think sometimes we forget that. But if you're not going to show gratitude, the universe isn't going to give you what you want, because it's going, well, I gave you that and you're not happy with it. So at least that's my theory at this point in time. So there's that beginning. And you might then also, once you've done that, is we're going to work on the tassels on the ends. Now you can think about how you could do this. You could just paint them in, or you could cut them out and glue them in. It's just up to you how you put them. But I'm just going to paint mine in, and thinking about dream catchers, what are some of the objects that you could attach to these? So if I go with the traditional, let's do a feather. Now feather, easy way to do it is sort of one way, and then again, don't close it in, and then you can run your line down the middle. And this is a tricky bit. Get the lines. I can do them one way, but I can't do them the other way, but we get the idea. And we're going to paint in between here, so that might be my first one. And once we've painted on it, you can add words. So you might think, okay, pick out maybe 3 big dreams that you are thinking of, you know, and as you paint them in, think about that idea of doing the how you would actually, sorry, lost my train of thought there. How is it that you actually would like to see that in your life? Because as you paint it, you're sort of giving that energy to it. So I've got I'm going to sort of squeeze one in here. So remembering it's about the intention of what you're doing. Okay, so I've got my 3. And you can see how it's starting to sort of come together. And now what I want to do is actually add some colour. So I'm going to use a turquoise and I'm going to use a magenta. Of course, you pick out what colours are calling you. You might find that you can also use yellow with this, especially to make it pop against the blue, or you could do orange. So I'm just taking a little bit of paint. Now remembering that you don't need a huge amount of paint. You can see I've only got little dollops, and that might be a bit much as it is. So I can come in and possibly do things like this, where you could colour in sections of your Dreamcatcher, or you could just come and put the colour in with the white. And the lovely thing about working on these on a journal or just loose on something that's not really precious is that it doesn't matter how it turns out. It's the feeling, it's the idea that you're putting behind it that really makes it interesting. Just the idea of just playing, having fun. Stick some magenta in there. And if you find that it's not, like say if I put this magenta on straight on the black, oh no, that one's okay. But if it's a bit too see-through, you just mix in some white with your colour, and then you'll find that it'll stay a little bit better. Although I'm getting more of a mauve now that I've mixed it in with the turquoise. So you kind of just keep playing with that idea, and then come back with your feathers. Actually here you could actually just paint the inside of your feather and then come back and do the line work later. So you leave a little bit of the underside showing. You don't have to paint it like a colouring in book. And leave some gaps. So see how you go with yours, and then we'll come back when this bit's done. Okay, so now I've got that it's all nice and dry, I can come back in here and do some writing. I've got a Posca pen. I've also got some Sharpies, and what you might find is that your Posca pen might not work that clearly on the dark background. Sometimes they're a bit see-through. I'll give it a go. So I'm just going to do not perchance the best of calligraphers, but you know, I can give it a bit of a go. So you could use the outside to do some writing. You could write yourself some little love notes, and the idea is that now that you've got your feathers, which might have turned out a bit leafy, but that's okay. You know, so I might have in here love and health. Think about the things that you really would like to dream up in your life. Some more art, and you've got room in there to write as well, and this is something that you could put up. So even in your actual Dreamcatcher here, you could start writing some of the things that you're grateful for, like my family. Yeah, and if you've done this on paper, you can always just put it up on somewhere you can see it and just remember and keep focusing on it. So I hope you've liked that, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks with a new little project for you to do. This doesn't take that long, but if you give it a go, take a photo, put it up on the group, let us see what your dreams are doing and your dream catchers are looking like.